Who are the funnest champions to play in League of Legends? Well, I asked thousands of you this exact question, kind of, and here are the results. I say kind of because unfortunately I messed up one of the titles on the survey, and in it, I also asked which champion you find to be the most toxic, which is supposed to be for the next Chosen by You episode. Speaking of which, if you want to vote for that one now, I will leave a link in the description. Anyways, I manually recorded all of the votes if you made a note that you specifically voted for the funnest champion, but otherwise I ended up having to toss out the first few hundred votes and make a new survey so the results weren't skewed. So, sorry if you voted early, that's my bad. Anyways, welcome to another scuffed episode of Chosen by You. Don't forget to sub and help me at 200k subs if you enjoy, and let's get into things. Starting things off in the number 15 spot, we have Thresh. Thresh is one of those champions that I feel like has the potential to be a ton of fun, but is fully dependent on your skill level and team. That said, he has all the tools you need to have a great time playing with him. His Q, of course, is used to hook people, which is always fun in itself. His W in Lantern is there for moral support, and his E literally pushes people around. Okay, obviously his Lantern isn't just there for moral support, it just feels like that most of the time, but when you do find a teammate that isn't blind, pulling off some sick Lantern plays with Thresh is actually such a good time. There's no better feeling when playing Thresh than pulling off some crazy combos and putting people on a platter for your team to kill. Plus, you just feel like a badass when it's done successfully. He's also just one of those champions where the better you are with them, the more fun you'll have. Hey, really quick, have you ever wondered which friend you have the highest win rate with? Well, the app Mobalytics, and sponsor for today's video, allows you to see just that. Not only that, but it also allows you to see win streaks depending on what day you've played. It provides an entire chart showing your LP gain and loss journey, and it gives you an entire list of data specific to your account. Additionally, it even has stats on your champion pool and matchups, and it of course also shows all of the champions that are meta right now too, including Arena. And once you're in the game too, it has tools like CS trackers, summoner spell timers, a HUD to show you how much gold you need until an item, and you can even set it up to notify you when other people buy items too, which is crazy underrated. You can also see details of the other players too once you're in the game. It seriously is a great all-in-one League of Legends app, so make sure to download Mobalytics for free using my link in the description. It'll help support the channel too, and thank you Mobalytics for sponsoring today's video. All right, next up in the number 14 spot, we have Samira. Now, Samira is a really fun champion, and she has an alright kit, but let's not kid ourselves. The main reason she's on this list is for the sole reason that she is very good at spinning and has the potential to absolutely massacre everyone on the other team. She kind of took a page out of Garen's book when it comes to that one. After all, she does have one of the highest chances of getting a pentakill in the game out of any champion, and when is that ever not fun? Plus, getting that S tier and getting to use her ult feels pretty damn good, and if you're able to just keep doing it again and again and again until their whole team is dead, since her ult doesn't have a cooldown, it's even better. Killing champions is fun, and that's exactly what she does, so it's no surprise to see her as one of the top picks here. All right, coming in at number 13, we of course have Teemo. Yo, when is Teemo not on one of these lists? I swear he's in every single one. Anyways, of course he's on this list because even though everyone hates playing against Teemo, everyone also likes making people suffer, and who better to do that with than with the devil himself. Teemo really isn't that good of a champion, but his kit is just designed to piss people off, and that is exactly what he does. Being in a ranged versus melee top match is a great time as long as you're the ranged player, and I hate to admit it, but it is pretty freaking fun watching people roll over your shrooms and seeing their health bars melt away. I mean, we're all borderline insane for playing this game, and Teemo is part of the reason why. He's just like a forbidden fruit. You really shouldn't do it, but it just feels so good being the sometimes. All right, coming in at number 12, we have Yone. I don't think there's that much explaining that needs to be said with this one, as Yone is just a broken ass champion, and sometimes broken just equals fun. He has not one but two knockups in his kit with his Q and ult. He has a W that gives him damage and a fast shield, and he has a mini echo ult with his E ability where he just jumps at you and yoinks back whenever he wants. I mean, if you can't have fun with a kit like that, then you should probably quit League of Legends. It's always a good time being able to completely obliterate the other team. Plus, when you land a good ult and see the other team melt away, that's pretty much the definition of fun. Next up at number 11, we have the one and only Blitzcrank. I, for one, am actually really glad to see Blitz on this list because, man, even though he only has one trick up his sleeve, that trick is well worth it. Yoinking people around with his Q will probably be one of the funnest things to do in this game. In fact, if we were just talking abilities alone, I may be even so bold to say it is the funnest thing to do. That said, Blitz does of course have some other fun abilities too, like a point and click knockup and a go fast button, but his hook will always be the main attraction. It really is just classic League of Legends too. All right, now onto the top 10. In spot number 10, we have Nunu and Willump. What? There's honestly no way I would have ever predicted Nunu being in the top 10, but I'm not mad, I'm just pleasantly surprised. That said, I think it really comes down to mainly one ability, and that's his snowball. I mean, being able to fly around the map with this thing is always a great time. Whether you're playing competitively or casually, it's pretty great just getting to be Nunu and flying across the screen, especially during the late game where you can get a ridiculous amount of speed and do the stupidest and dumbest things and just have a great time. Plus, we can't sleep on his ultimate either. Having the ability to absolutely one-shot their entire team is extremely satisfying. Plus, there are so many other cheeky ways you can pull it off too, like with Ryze's ultimate. On top of all that, he even has the instantly heal back to full health ability with his Q, or as Kesha likes to say, overall, I'd say he's worthy of being in the top 10. Okay, coming in at number 9, we have Sylas. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly expected Sylas to be a bit higher on this list. Still, he did make it into the top 10. Just with his basic abilities, Sylas is a pretty fun champion to play. He has a dash, a grab in the dash, a pretty unique Q that does a crap ton of damage, and of course, he has a point and click do a ton of damage ability and heal back to full health button, which is always fun. But I think we can all agree though that the bread and butter of his funness revolves mostly around his ultimate. Because the only thing more fun than having a good ultimate is an ultimate that is literally everyone's ultimate. While every League of Legends game is always different, having a champion and ability that allows you to somewhat play every champion in the game definitely makes things more exciting and fun. He's one of the only champions that's fun literally scales with the enemy team. Okay, moving on to number 8, we have Bard. It's not often that a support makes it onto a fun tier list, but here we are, and for good reason. He probably has one of the most unique and flexible kits in the entire game. If you want to play like a generic support, you can. But if you want to play like a roaming support who just does and goes wherever the f he wants collecting chimes, he can also do that. He has a portal that lets him cut across the map, and he has his Q, which actually does a lot of damage and stuns people, which is especially fun if you're getting chased and they always try and take the portal after you. We also can't forget about his ultimate because that thing is actually so much fun to use. And even better, if you want to troll your team, you possess one of the only abilities in League of Legends to single-handedly screw over your entire team. Which, I mean, how can you say that's not fun? But seriously, Bard is a very unique champion with a very unique playstyle, which definitely makes him a lot more fun to play. And it especially helps supports mix things up a bit because instead of just sitting bot lane all game pressing heal every so often, they're able to pull a Mundo and go wherever he pleases. Your ADC might hate you for leaving them to die under turret, but at least you're having fun. Plus, side note, it's just fun being good at Bard. Okay, now on to lucky number 7, or maybe not so lucky number 7, because of all champions, we have Shaco. You guys are some sick people. Shaco is the definition of someone's pain being another person's pleasure because, well, if someone's having fun on Shaco, that means the person on the other team is probably about to kill them. Shaco is just such an annoying champion, but if you know how to play him and love torturing people, then yeah, I mean, I could see how you psychopaths would have a good time with him. After all, I will admit, sometimes there's no better feeling than tilting the crap out of your opponent, and what better champion to do that with than someone whose kit is almost the definition of a troll. I mean, he has an ability to make him go invisible, he has his annoying stupid ass boxes, and he of course has his exploding clone to f around with people's mentality. So yeah, Shaco is definitely something. Moving on to number 6, we have Neeko. I have to say, I don't think Neeko would have actually been up here had it not been for a rework a while back, because let's be honest, while Neeko was a pretty fun champion before, she became extremely fun once you got the ability to change into pretty much anything. Haters are gonna hate, but I think it's actually one of Riot's best updates yet as far as fun goes, because honestly, it just makes her so much more exciting. Seeing all the clips of people turning into minions and then ulting in people's faces, or even just staying as a minion and auto-attacking people with a crit build is so much more entertaining than just being any other champion. Plus, her ult was always pretty fun in general, but now just having the opportunity to deceive people and outplay people as well just brings a whole new level of fun. Alright, now moving on to the top 5, which is actually a pretty close race. But starting in the number 5 spot, we have Jhin. I'm actually fairly surprised to see this high. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a pretty fun champion to play, but I don't know, I just didn't personally picture him when I think of the funnest champions to play in the game. But hey, that's why we're doing this vote thing in the first place. I will say though that Jhin has a surprising amount of flexibility when it comes to his gameplay. He can really play however he wants, whether it be one-shotting people or just being fast. Like the fast. I mean, I don't think anyone can deny that this looks like a great time. Still, Jhin is probably one of the most satisfying ADCs to absolutely one-shot people with, especially with his patented and infamous 4th crit shot. Combine that with Collector and you're always in for a pretty solid time. I can already smell the comments though saying that the only thing wrong with the results is that Jhin is in 4th. Maybe next time. Right now, stealing Jin's glory and in spot number 4, we have Viego. I think Viego was always kind of destined to be on this list for the similar reason that Sylas is on here, and that's of course due to the fact that he can literally be every champion. Because again, the only thing better than playing one champion in League is playing all of them. Now seriously though, Viego is a pretty fun champion to play because there's honestly so much more thought and strategy that goes into his gameplay and style. There's so many more variables and choices you get to make too, like after you kill someone, is it better to stay as yourself, become the person person you killed? Should you stay as the person you killed? Should you swap back to yourself? The sky is really the limit with Viego. Plus, Viego himself is just a pretty fun champion to play too. I mean, who doesn't love playing a hyper life-stealing champion that quite literally wields one of the biggest life-stealing items in the game? Alright, and finally we are down to the top 3, and coming in third place is shockingly Akali. Now don't get me wrong, Akali is a really fun champion to play, and I did expect her to be in one of the top picks, but a third place finish is pretty impressive. Nevertheless, here she is finishing bronze, barely beating out Viego. Anyways, Akali is just one of those champions that I feel like has it all. She has a billion dashes, which is fun when you're the one using them. She has a Q that does a ton of damage. And most importantly, she has an FU ability that allows her to completely disappear in her shroud, which again is just so annoying to play against, but is so fun to use yourself. I might be detecting a pattern here. Her ultimate is also equally ridiculous in the sense that it acts like another dash, or 2 dashes to be specific, but it does a crap ton of damage, making ADCs and squishy champions cry by constantly blowing them up with little to no effort, and counterplay is extremely painful for them, but really fun to do. Okay, moving on to the runner-up of the funnest champion to play in League of Legends, we have Pyke. Pyke is another champion I fully expected to be on this list, and rightfully so, because he is just objectively such a fun champion to play. I mean, his kit is just built for a good time. He has a hook to yoink people, he's got an ability for movement and healing, he's got a dash and stun as one ability, and most importantly, he has the star of his show, his ultimate. Because while his basic abilities are great, his ultimate is really what sells Pyke as one of the funnest champions to play in this game. I mean, who in their right mind would say that executing their entire team isn't fun? Picking up a multi-kill with his ult is probably one of the most satisfying things in this game, because 1, it's fun to get the kills, obviously, but 2, also the sound it makes is just like a drug. Plus, you just feel like an absolute Chad afterwards. And it not only feels great to kill people, but it also feels even better knowing that your team won't flame you for taking the kills as a support because of his passive, which I think is a completely underrated part of his kit. One of the worst feelings as a support is accidentally taking a kill from your ADC and getting flamed for it, or just having to hold back on killing the enemy team in general so someone else can get the kill. But with Pyke, you literally get the best of both worlds and essentially get to have all the fun without any of the consequences. He really is a nice breath of fresh air for support players and just a great time for anyone in general. Alright, lastly, in the number 1 spot with 415 votes, the funnest champion to play in League of Legends chosen by you is Yasuo. This is honestly so weird because a few years ago I did a similar poll and Yasuo was eliminated in the first round for the funnest champion to play. So the fact that he made a comeback 2 years later is impressive. Nevertheless, he is your 2024 funnest champion to play in League. And while everyone does meme on him, I will be the first to admit that he is a very fun champion to play. I might be ass with him, but he still is fun. And that alone is actually saying something, because if someone who is absolutely garbage with him can still have a good time with him, then imagine how much fun someone can have who's actually good with him. He's also one of the few champions that essentially has an unlimited amount of dashes with his E. He has a stupid wind wall that annoys the crap out of everyone, and if we've learned anything so far, annoying other people means fun for you. And he of course has his infamous tornado. That combined with his ultimate is what really makes Yasuo Yasuo, and what really makes him so fun to play. Not to mention the added variable of him being able to work off your teammates' knockups too, which makes things even more exciting. There are few things out there as satisfying as ulting on a Malphite ult or Gragas ult or some kind of massive knockup and being a part of a huge wombo combo, especially because you're the one who'll probably get all the kills. Alright, well those are your funnest champions to play in League of Legends, and lastly, just for fun, I decided to ask all of you who you thought were the most boring to play as well, and here are the top 5. In 5th place, we have Heimerdinger. In 4th was Ivern. In 3rd was Sona. In 2nd was Garen. And in 1st, by a freaking landslide, was Yuumi with 39.8% of the votes. I would explain that a bit, but let's be honest, I think it speaks for itself. Alright, don't forget to vote for the next Chosen by You episode on the most toxic champions and champion mains in League of Legends using the form in the description. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Also, here were the full results for the funnest champions in case you were interested. A giant shout out to my amazing patrons and supporters. We had Gooseman Hagel, and a massive shout out to Wolf for being a tier freaking 3 patron. I say it every time, but seriously, you guys are insane. Okay, thank you all again, and I will see you next time. Bye.